Hello everyone. Today I'm taking a different approach and I'll tell you my story as I feature cooked prickly pear cactus, which is known locally on the island of Antigua as Cassie. My husband Jeffrey introduced me to Cassie over 20 years ago and I can't stop eating this Antiguan delight paired with saltfish. Now I've always bought Cassie until I had a chance encounter in 2021 with the late Urine Charles Hector, who armed me with the tools and instructions for preparing Cassie, so I dedicate this to her memory. I took a drive to the eastern side of the island of Antigua to visit a friend who recently had a beautiful baby girl. On my way home, I happened to see Mrs. Hector. She was alone, so I stopped to say hello. Mrs. Hector told me that she was about to cut up some Cassie, so my eyes immediately lit up. I knew she couldn't see my face because I was wearing a mask due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but she must have heard the excitement in my voice when I told her that I used to buy Cassie and saltfish lunch from a guy named Kemba over 10 years ago when I worked in St. John's. Mrs. Hector asked me to give her a minute, then she crossed the street and returned with a big Ziploc bag full of frozen Cassie. This is how the Cassie is prepared. Place the thawed Cassie in a large pot and add enough water to cover the Cassie. Do not fill the pot as the Cassie will rise while boiling. Add salt to taste and a dash or two of black pepper. When the Cassie is cooked, the shade of green will lighten. Turn off the stove and drain the Cassie. Some people eat the Cassie that way. So I stretched out my hand to get the bag of Cassie, but her hand dropped and she did not release the bag. I smiled when she said, "There's something else you can do." Dice the onions, peppers, garlic, and all the green seasoning and saute them in oil. Then add the Cassie and stir to mix it up. Cook the saltfish and eat it with your Cassie. And that's exactly what I did. As a matter of fact, I made 2 types of saltfish. The Dominican way like this, and I've left the link in the description box below, and the Antiguan way like that. This is how I prepared my saltfish Antiguan style. I diced and sauteed the onions, bell and seasoning peppers, garlic, green seasonings and tomatoes, then added a little tomato paste and ketchup to the pan. I then added the saltfish chunks, about a 1/4 cup of water, and stirred to combine. I allowed the saltfish to cook and the liquid to dry a bit, then served. I had a chance encounter with Mrs. Hector that day, and I am so glad I did. Now I can cook my own Cassie. Thanks for watching Storytime and Cooking with Forsi. You can find us on Facebook. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to watch more videos.